Hello everyone, hope everybody's doing great today and that this video finds you in high spirits and that you're enjoying yourselves. And today, I'm a little frustrated, and also this might be one of my most controversial videos I made today, just because of the subject matter that this show will be talking about is taking place. But the reason I'm frustrated is I was going to make this video on Friday, and everything that happened this weekend from episodes 5 and 6 were exactly what I was going to say was going to happen, and now I can't brag about it because it's all in the past. You know, I kind of feel like the person who picked all the lottery numbers perfectly, but then didn't go and buy them, and then they would have hit the jackpot and became a billionaire. But there's no way I would have become a billionaire just because I kind of predicted what was going to happen in episodes 5 and 6. But, oh well, it is what it is. And I'll get to the more controversial stuff near the end of this video, because this show does hit on something that is kind of controversial today, very highly debated for sure. But so let's get into this. So today I'll be talking about Here Comes the Real, and the synopsis of this, just gonna go by what they say on the app, is that it's about a man and a woman who get into this arranged marriage relationship. So far after 6 episodes, this hasn't happened yet, but I have a feeling it's going to happen in the next 2 episodes. Anyways, the woman is pregnant, and her her boyfriend doesn't want anything to do with her. He actually broke up with her before she found out that she was pregnant. And then we have a guy who doesn't want to get married, but he needs to get married to be in good relationships with his rich family. So they have this, so they're going to enter this contract with marriage. Like I said, after 6 episodes, this hasn't happened yet, but I believe this will happen in the next 2 episodes. So let's get into this show. This basically is so far after the first 4 or 6 episodes, it's centered around 3 families. You got the male lead. His family is very wealthy, and he's kind of like a bastard. He is the bastard. All his siblings are half siblings. He doesn't want nothing to do with his family or their corporation or their business, which is, it seems like it's very highly rated, because you got his half siblings are fighting to be the next CEO of this corporation. So you kind of get that political aspect of it. In that family, the grandma is definitely the worst character. She's probably like the worst character in the whole series. You can tell that she's been spoiled her whole life, because anytime nothing goes her way, she throws this tantrum. And because she has power, she kind of throws it down on those below her, on her other family members. And the whole reason why our male lead wants to get married is because the grandma is threatening to throw his mom out onto the streets, kick her out of the house, because he's kind of like the black sheep. You know, he just wants to do his own thing, doesn't want nothing to do with them. But the grandma is very upset about this. But in his family, you do get basically 2 good characters. You have his mom and his stepfather. His stepfather really does love his mom, and he cares for him too. He's not a bad guy, but he does let his mother, the grandmother, walk all over him a lot. And then you do have another pretty good character, is another in-law, a husband that married his half-sister. He seems like a pretty good guy. Actually, our male lead and him are doctors, and they kind of work together at the same. I think they might have their own corporation type of thing, business. What do you call it? Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I'm not going to stutter anymore. But they work together. I think they have their own practice together or whatever. So he's pretty good. And then we have our female lead, and she's kind of like the breadwinner of her family. She's a lecturer, or she works at an academy, and she's like one of the best. And she's on the verge of becoming the #1 lecturer of this academy that she's working at, when she finds out she's pregnant. And we'll get into that here in a second. And her family's they're not very rich. They're not very wealthy at all. They're kind of lower middle class, if I had to guess. They all rely on her income. If she didn't have to support her family, she would probably be a lot wealthier than she is. But she's supporting her brother, her niece, and her uncle, along with her mom. And they're kind of like this family that wants to get rich without the work behind it, you know? So they're not very I can see once she gets into it with the family, there's going to be problems when she gets married because her family's going to want a lot more. Which leads us to another family, which is kind of like the fake fiance type of thing. She's just entered in the last couple episodes. She entered like she was going to enter a contractual marriage with our male lead because he needs to get married to help his mom out, and the grandma kind of picked his fiance. Her dad is very good. He's a very good character. He's a principal at a facility that helps older people kind of get their education and stuff like that so they can get better jobs and improve themselves. And he's a good guy. His wife, I understand, she's definitely a gold digger, and she's wants her daughter to get married into this family just so they can have more wealth. But the father is more, he doesn't want his daughter to enter that relationship at all because he feels like they're demeaning his daughter, which they are. But the daughter is all for it because she wants wealth and power as well. So what can you say? So you got these family dynamics work in this show, which is probably what this show is about, is how different families work. How, but they're all in a negative light pretty much right now. So maybe by the end of it's 50 episodes. It's 50 episodes long. Maybe by the end of that, there all will be better families and more unity with them. So, yeah, going on here. A couple of things I like. I do like the male lead. The two leads are good. They're great actors. You got chemistry. They got good interactions with them. And you do got a sprinkle of other good characters. I don't like anybody from the female leads family at all, except for maybe her niece. She's a cute little girl. But other than that, I'm not really a big fan. And his family, you got nicer people. You got the mom and his stepdad and the brother-in-law. They're pretty cool. And I think one of his half sister has potential and stuff, but they're so greedy with no power that they're not very good. So I got a feeling that most of the show is going to be about that family dynamic of them trying to impress their father in order to be the next CEO and the grandmother. I think that's where a large part of this storyline is going to go. I don't see how that's going to carry this show for 50 episodes, so I'm pretty sure we're going to have other characters sprinkle into it, hopefully, to create more storylines. But probably the dominant feature of this is going to be, once she does get married into that family, is how she fits in with them. That's probably going to be the most dynamic part. And so far, the acting is hit or miss. To me, like, the two leads are great. The father of the fake fiance, I'm going to call her fake fiance, the evil fiance, he's a great actor. I've seen him in a lot of other shows, such as he was in It's Okay to Be Okay. He was like the head doctor of that crazy facility. And then he is the father in One Spring Night. I believe that's the title. If you haven't seen those shows, check them out. They're great. But he's great. But all the other actors, to me, are kind of hit and miss. And I don't know if it's the direction of the director or what, or maybe it's just how they're filming it, but they don't, they're kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they're great and sometimes they're really bad. The lighting is kind of weird in this, especially when they're shooting at home. Like sometimes I feel like I'm watching like an 80s sitcom or 80s soap opera, which this is kind of reminds me of a soap opera, but it's only going to be 50 episodes. That's great. Another thing that kind of worries me is this is my first time watching a Korean drama that's 50 episodes long that is coming out weekly. Usually, I've seen other Korean dramas that are 50 episodes long, but they're all been out and released, so I can just watch straight through them. So I'm hoping this will be able to keep my attention. So let's get to like one of the more talked about topics that the show is about, and that is the abortion topic on this. This show is definitely a pro-life, anti-abortion show. We see this woman who is on the cusp of reaching her dreams of becoming like the number one lecturer of her academy, which means she'll get big money, and she'll really be able to help her family out. And On top of that, she has her boyfriend who wants nothing to do with her. He breaks up with her to go off with another woman. Her family is totally against her having this child. So there's so many reasons why she could just say, I'm going to have her abortion. And at first, her first choice is to have an abortion, but she later changes her mind. And so she accepts all of that to save her child's life and to go and have, to go through with her pregnancy to have this child born. She's very determined. And it's just, her main reason for this is because she's had twins, and one of them, she miscarried. So she only has one of the twins alive, and she kind of feels like that child is fighting to stay alive, and that she can't see herself killing that child when that child is doing its best to continue living. And she kind of relates to that child because right now in her life, that's kind of what she's going through as well. So it's kind of like going against everything that the pro-abortionists are for. You know, you hear these actors talk about how they're grateful that they had an abortion so they can have this great career. She could have an abortion and still have her great career, but she decided to choose the life of her child for that and for his life. And so she turned that away, you know. Another thing that people report abortion is like, you know, the difficulty that would be for a single mother to raise it. She accepts that fact. She's willing to take that responsibility to raise her child. Her family's against it. So she's basically turning her away from all the easy ways for her to choose to have an abortion to keep this child alive. So this show is definitely a pro-life show, which is something that I like about it. That's kind of what I like about a lot of Korean dramas. I'm sure they're out there, but I haven't seen any Korean drama where the main character chooses abortion over not having an abortion. Like I said, I'm sure they're out there, but all the Korean shows I've watched, the always turn away from abortion. But yeah, so that's probably one of the most controversial parts of the show right now, is just because it's a hot topic. I don't even know if it's controversial, but it's just because it's a hot topic. What's going on in today's world, especially here in America. I don't know what the topic's like over there in Korea, but that's what's happening here. So at the end of the day, what I like to do on these videos, I'm just at the beginning, kind of predict what's going to happen throughout the show. That way when I go do the review, I can brag or not brag about how well I predicted the show's going to go. So I got a feeling the show is going to go where probably the two leads will end up really having a loving relationship there at the end. Maybe they're going to have another child. She might be pregnant at the end of the series. There'll probably be some points where the truth of who the child really belongs to is probably going to come out for real. And we'll see what kind of ramifications will from that. There might be a little bit of separation. I'll probably get an argument over something. Hopefully the grandma dies, but I think in the end, if she doesn't die, I got a feeling the grandma will accept him and her and their child. And then the whole who will be able to take over the company afterwards probably resolved. I don't think it'll be our male lead, but maybe it'll be like a co-CEO if that's even possible or something like that. But hey, so I would rate this moment. I enjoy this. I would recommend it. Like I said, there's some rough spots with the acting. They're kind of up and down with some of the actors, but they're for the most part they're passable. The two leads are great in their roles, and they take up most of the on-screen time. So they really do carry this show heavily, and so you don't have to worry about the up and down of his family. Some of his actors and his family are all around, kind of like I said, up and down. But they don't take much of the screen time, especially as our two leads, and they do a fantastic job. And when they're on the screen, it seems like it makes everybody else better. It's just when they're not on screen, then things seem to fall apart with the other actors, in my humble opinion. Let's end this. This is about 15 minutes long, way longer than I expected it to be. Hope you enjoy this, and until the next video, have a great day. Bye.